Okay guys, this is Tom and you're in Tom's garage over here, and I'm going to do a quick review on this helmet I just got right now. I just came back off a little test ride. Some guys on Buell XP wanted to know what it was like. This is for the AFX FX-41, and that's it. It's a dual sport helmet. Some guys are switching over to dual sport helmets for summer because they tend to be cool. They have a lot of ventilation. So I picked this one up. I didn't have very high expectations of it. I think I paid about $110 for it. And when I first got it out of the box and looked at it, it looked beautiful. It nice high gloss on it. Checked it out. The interior isn't all that special. I wouldn't even say, you know, no. I mean, it's okay, but it's not great. The shell itself seems pretty nice, but a lot of the little things that are attached to it, like this little front grill right here, is very plasticky. You can hear it kind of creak when you touch it. All right, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot. The helmet itself is pretty light, and it looks pretty good. The controls on it are fairly easy to use. There's a little button here to slip down the internal visor in there. It moves. It's kind of cheapy feeling, but not terrible. And the external windscreen or visor just moves down manually like that. Now there's no kind of detents or anything to lock it in place. I was kind of worried that it would flip up when during riding, but it didn't do it. Other than it being slightly cheap feeling, it seems to be pretty good for what it is. Now I took it out. I didn't have a chance to really do any kind of high-speed testing. The fastest I was able to take it up to today was 80. And these are my impressions. The helmet's loud. All right, your ears are in a little socket, probably for headphones or something, and there's a lot of ventilation, and it howls in there pretty bad when you start hitting about 70. Down low, you know, 0 to 60, it's okay. It's louder than a straight helmet. You could deal with it. But if you're going to be going 70 plus in this thing for, you know, an hour or so at a time, I think that would probably kind of get to you. Although one thing it does do well is it does have good ventilation. It had good ventilation. It had a pretty good field of peripheral vision. I liked the field of view on it. Now, one of the things I didn't like about it is that if you have the external visor up, but the internal sun visor down, you can really only ride it like that up to about 40. Wind goes in there, whips around the bottom of that little internal visor and blows it directly on your eyeballs. You can handle it at about 40, maybe a little bit about 50, but at higher speeds it's pretty bad. If any debris comes your way, it's going to go right into your eyeball. So you have to, if you're going to use that sun shield in there, you have to keep that external visor down if you're going to do any speed. You know, in town it's okay, but you know, it's not true wind protection. It's just like an internal pair of sunglasses, I guess. Another thing that I noticed, that if the sun visor, internal sun visor is down, but the external shield is up, this bottom edge of this external shield is in your field of vision. I mean, you can see you have a, it's just that it's above directly what you're looking at, and it's quite distracting. At first I found myself kind of almost seeing double a little bit, kind of like your eye almost reflexively wants to focus on it. But I noticed after about 15-20 minutes I got a little better at it, so maybe you can adapt to it. I don't know. Now, when I took it up to about 70 and looked around, I looked behind me, the shield didn't open. I looked up, it didn't yank on me that bad. It does yank a little bit, but I can live with it. And it's not a real, this helmet is not all that tight on me. It's my size, but I think it ran just a tad big for me. And it still, the yanking around still wasn't that bad. What's my final verdict on this thing? I think it's okay for what you pay, and as long as your expectations aren't real high, I think you'll be pleased for it. Make an okay in-town helmet for summer, where you're not really going to be doing a whole bunch of freeway time. You know, it'll do that. I wouldn't pay any more than $110 for it though. You know, it's just, it does kind of have a plasticky feel. Really, you know, it's a $100 helmet. You know, that's what it is. So as long as you're not expecting too much, I think you'll be happy with it. I mean, you know, you're not talking about an Icon variant, you know, which was a street helmet adapted to look more like a dual sport. This is more like a dirt helmet adapted a little bit towards the street. I would say the main drawback is the sound. It's loud. But if you can live with it, you can live with it. One good feature I did like about it is the closure. It's got a nice metal closure right there. It's metal, and you can operate it with gloves. You just slip that into it. It works fine. It looks good on too, but it does kind of have a little bit of a cheap sound. Hear that? The peak is fine though. I thought the peak was okay. It didn't yank on me too badly. It just is what it is, you know. But you can see the interior is not really a deluxe interior. That looks like some pretty budget materials in there. So it's okay, guys. Just don't expect too much of it, and I wouldn't pay much more than $100. All right, guys. This is Tom signing out.